Hi, I just want to do a reply comment on. I just got a comment from Jerry Covington, but I think it's really kind of funny. You know, atheists really you push their buttons when you start using reason, logic, and science, and they don't like it. So I'm gonna read some of his comments. He says, "God is not the answer. All problems were either created by people, either will be solved by people or not. God does nothing. He doesn't vote. He produces goods or services, otherwise he participate in science." In other words, Sir Isaac, uh, uh, Sir Sick, God isn't real. Also, atheism does nothing except to answer one question: do you really believe that deity exists or not? There are many ways to not believe, as there are ways to believe. While you believe or lack of, one for you how you make decisions, how to live, just a part of complex history process and going on. History showed us that religious conflict is at least harmful in helping solving practical problems confronting society. Atheists believe and believers can work together for common good. If they choose, they can also come into bitter conflict. It all comes to the attitude. In the end, we stand together or fall separately. Choose wisely. Okay, well, let's go some of the beginning. So, I think, first of all, you kind of have to ignore, like, to really have this comment. First of all, you have to ignore the idea of God in general. You have to ignore creation. You have to just see, if you really believe in atheism, then what you're really saying is something came from nothing, which is not scientific. You also have, you don't, it's like someone put a refrigerator in my kitchen, and therefore it wasn't someone, it was magical, whatever, or how it happened doesn't matter. That's what atheism is. It's ridiculous. It's beyond stupid, and that's really what he's coming from. Also, he's from the mindset is so when I start talking about these concepts, and I start pointing out the ideology and how it affects, really this is just pattern recognition of what ideology brings to society. Has there been some religious good and some religious bad? Absolutely. However, this guy obviously, I'm assuming this guy lives in Western society, which obviously was created by Judeo-Christian ethics, specifically Protestantism. So therefore, like, I don't see him jumping out off ship. The things that I present as problems really have come from atheistic, self-absorbed ideologies of not asking them bigger questions. The ideology of Christianity specifically puts you begin to see that yourself as a servant to society, a servant to your fellow man, comparatively to a selfish, individualistic ideology. Live for now, for tomorrow. We must die. The rest be damned. It doesn't matter. And this is what really, if you kind of can point to this, is kind of really coming from the baby boomer generation. The baby boomers, still to this day, they are not, I joke, baby boomer women will live forever, because we're still voting to dedicate more resources to essentially the people that are going to die soon. And it's overwhelming, the resources that we give, even though they already lived in the most prosperous age that's ever created, they are going to suck society dry until it is what it is. So having the idea, so all this being said, this is what I'm saying, that without that mindset of ideology, what essentially the idea of socialism and communism, really what happens is they get fed this ideology that I don't have to work, I don't have to try to strive harder. I have the government redistribute wealth to me, and essentially the belief of scarcity is gone. On top of the ideology of, well, let's just face it, men in general don't want to pay for other men's babies, and the redistribution of wealth, the single motherhood, obviously is a plague on society. The children do terribly, statistically, across the board. Before, women used to, even if they found themselves single with children, they would try to find a good man to get married, for at least for the children's sake, and that was understood. But now that's gone. So all this ideology came from atheism, because they have no belief of, quote, no belief in anything. And when finally atheists get together and make a society, what forms is always communism, always. And when they run out of resources, what happens? Killing fields, all the things that I'm saying, and you just simply want to ignore. And just it's like all communists. They're all the same. Not all atheists. Not all whatever. Or that wasn't true atheism. Or that wasn't true communism. All these excuses without really associating that this is just pattern recognition. That's all we're saying. These are tied together, and it's not really hard. Hard to say that, and to say that, and to simply, and to say that, like, that as Western society has become more atheistic, more materialistic, to ignore all the direct problems that has come with that is incredibly stupid. They go hand in hand, and it's okay. For example, let's just, poverty. Okay. What solution? Well, the majority of poverty can simply be solved by finishing high school, obtaining full-time work, and not having kids out of wedlock. Those are that was from the Covington Institute. It was done several years back. It's still proved today. It's unbelievable, and that solution really is found in Christianity specifically, and it's weird that you can't connect the dots. You want to fix that problem, it's bizarre that that you want to ignore problems. It's like you just don't care about what happens in general. It's such a selfish attitude. To pretend that all religion created these problems. No, life was so much better 50 years ago. Sure, we didn't have the latest technology, but the latest technology has brought happiness to people? If you look at the happiness between men and women, year after year, studies have found that women's happiness have gone down over and over. or men's happiness, it's relatively stayed the same. So what has changed? Well, women are not getting married. They're not having children. They're not doing what they're designed to do. Women like children. That's what the boobs, the everything, their monthly reminders are reminders that scream that they're fertile and they want to have children. That's just biological. I don't know. I shouldn't. Anyways, I just wanted to make it. I know this went way too long, but it's kind of it's just super ignorant. The things that I'm presenting specifically have to do with ideology, and I'm presenting to you that because people have lost any sort of faith, they've abandoned their morals, and it should be as simple as that. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Continue to pray, continue to read the Bible, and you'll definitely find Jesus.